I knew that I wanted to open up more about my life. And I think it wasn't really until I wrote the song Ohio that everything kind of came together. I mean, songwriting for me has always been like, I don't always know my feelings. And so I would write a song, and I'd be like, oh, my feelings are hurt, or oh, I'm pretty sad right now. And so I wrote that song, and it all kind of clicked and made sense of, how I wanted to write this love letter to my family and to Ohio. And all of this is also me kind of coming to terms and like loving and appreciating and celebrating where my family is from. And now that I'm a mother, I mean, it's also like smoothing out a lot of like my childhood stuff that I don't know if I haven't even really opened that box. So this album has been like such a freeing, beautiful experience for me. And I don't think that I could have had that experience if it weren't for country music. I mean, my whole journey through country, nothing would have ever happened if it weren't for my brother. I didn't know who Dierks Bentley was, and I called him because he listens to country music, and he was like, Dierks Bentley, Ellie, you have to do that song. And, country fans are very different than the other fans that I, have had experienced. And they all reminded me of my brother, my sister, my family, my cousins, my nephews, my nieces. And so it just always felt like this like connection that I had that made me feel like home. And so I just wanted to continue to be in that and stay in that. And, even like my brother told me who Tyler Childers was. And we went to go see him a few years ago at like a place, River Rat Festival of like maybe 150 people. And so I owe so much of this life-changing experience in country to my brother. And I wanted to honor that and honor and celebrate my family and where I come from. And so I guess all of it sort of ties into, I hope my brother thinks I'm cool, basically. Showcasing my messy parts, that comes easy. I don't know. Like, I actually think that there's a lot of strength in vulnerability. I don't know where I'm at in that standing, but as open as I have been in my life, I've really been protective of my like roots and my family in Ohio. And I don't know, I feel so comfortable and weirdly, just accepted and welcomed. And the fans and this whole community here in Nashville and all the people that I made the record with and the people that I wrote with, I just felt so comfortable. And it's an experience that I never really had. I've had incredible experiences making music with all kinds of people, but it was just something different with this. And even every single day, I start to put all the pieces together of how, I never understood what the thread was when, like, my last two full-length albums that I made. And each of them had a country song, at least one, on it. And I didn't know how, like, I want to do rock, and I want to do blues, I want to do soul, I want to do, like, southern rock and country. And now I understand that all of that fits into what country is to me. And, I mean, this album still sounds like an Elle King album. It just works and fits under kind of the beautiful rhinestone and fringe-covered umbrella of country. Ross really helped with that whole, I don't even really know the word to describe it because we co-produced it, but Ross is the boss. And he's so incredible at making stuff sound great. And he took my weird ideas and helped me bring them to fruition, and I trusted him. I don't know, I mean, does it say, I don't know if, like, I remember when I was starting to make records, I couldn't understand how or where I would fit in, and I would think about, like, the Strokes record and how it's one cohesive sound the entire time. And I never knew if I fit into that. And I think that this is the first album that kind of really does have that sort of sonic blanket over it, but it's like a comfy one, and it's a country one, a cozy one, I hope. I still don't know. I'm still new at this. I have no idea what I'm talking about, really. I met Ross during Different for Girls, and he is just like the most fun, lovable, warm, charming, incredible person. Just the biggest smile on his face anytime you see him. And when they asked me who I would want to work with, I was like, Ross. Like, will he work with me? And it was just incredible. A lot of this record is very, very honest. I think that there's three. One is Ohio. It's the first song on the record. If people don't know anything about me and they just listen from start to finish, that is a song about my family. And then in the middle of the record, I think probably the most vulnerable is a song called Lucky. And that's about my life and how I got here and about my son, which is very important to me. And the last song on the record, Love Go By, that is also a pretty vulnerable and honest song. So it's kind of markers. I mean, this album really does tell a story. I hope. I don't know what story it is, but I don't really know what my life is yet. I'm only like a third of the way through it, hopefully, so I don't know. Having my son in my life, like it's a interesting thing because it totally lit a fire under my ass of, wow, I really need to make this life great for my son and for my family. And also, it really, like, having him let me kind of loosen a lot of the barriers and like the walls that I put up, and I just got out of my own way. I didn't want to be in my own way of so many things that I've kind of kept myself from. And I just say, oh yeah, I'll try that. Yeah, I'll do a hip hop song. Oh, you want me to do a full country album? Like, I just made a whole pop record. Yeah, I'll do a whole country album. And Lucky has just brought so much joy into my life that it just spreads to every aspect of my life. And I think when you're happy, and I mean, all of my dreams have totally come true becoming a mother, and how that kind of affects everything in my life has just been beautiful. And, I mean, he's the best blessing, and everything I do for him. I kind of come from the place of like, I hope people just give it a chance. This album has brought me great joy. I'm telling more about my life. If people care to know more about me, then they can listen and understand. If people don't care to go deep, it's also just very fun to listen to. The musicians are unbelievably incredible, and the songs are just really fun, and it can tell a story, or it could be a record you just put on in the background and dance or cry or make out with somebody. I'm not sure. I look forward to seeing what people think. I don't know. I've tried to kind of release myself from the outcome of it, and that has been kind of a beautiful thing because I've put a lot of pressure on myself in every aspect of my life. And when I started just saying, okay, I made it, well, I hope somebody enjoys it. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what drew me to music and why I started writing songs and in the most honest and like vulnerable way, whether it's like a party song or not. It's a connection, and the listener, if they connect with it, then they realize that they're not the only person who feels that way, which connects to me and is a reminder to me that I'm not the only person that feels that way. And it's this like beautiful, like symbiotic connection. And that's my favorite thing about music. We haven't played Try Jesus yet, and I'm really, really excited. But there's so many songs on the album that I'm psyched to play. We haven't played Before You Met Me. I mean, we're coming up on rehearsal times, and it's just exciting. It's really, really exciting to have a new record to plan and figure out how it fits and where you put songs in the show and what kind of a story you take from the album and how you tell it on stage. It's a really exciting place to be, and I can't wait. I'm really, really, really excited. Tulsa came about because of a genius named Ella Langley. She's 22 years old. I don't have enough confidence in me at my age, in my 30s, and she's just so brave and badass and funny and hilarious. She wrote Out Yonder with Bobby Hamrick and Matt McKinney, and they sent that song to me, and I was like, holy crap. It was one of the first songs that we cut. I was like, wow, I'd never really had songs sent to me. And that's what I think is incredible about country specifically. I know people do it in pop and hip hop and everything. But I just had a baby, and so I didn't have the emotional capacity to like split my emotions between mom and creative process of writing, because I don't want to do anything half-assed. And so I got Out Yonder sent to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's about me. That's written for me. That's my song. I said, get me those writers. And they sent them out on tour with me, and I walked on the bus, and we wrote probably 8 songs in 2 days. And on the second day, I walked on, and Ella was like, I had this idea, and Tulsa, and, you know, how you spell Tulsa backwards? And I was like, oh, it's genius. Is that used? That's like my favorite thing to say, like, is that already written? Can we have that? And I know my strengths. I'm like a good, funny, like quirky verse writer, and then it's really fun to collaborate on a wild like chorus and hook, and that was Ella's idea, and she's just fucking genius. And then we just laughed our asses off. But what's important about that song is, yes, Tulsa spelled backwards is a slut, but I don't ever want to attack women or take any steps backwards for us. We still have it hard enough as it is. So I really wanted to take a moment in the song and be smart and say, it's not you, the guy, in this instance, the guy cheating on me, it's his fault. You should know better. It's probably gonna happen to you, but it's his fault. So, you know, I think that there's a fine line, even in creativity, of what you can say, and I don't ever want to attack anybody, and I don't ever want to make anybody feel bad. Music should be fun. And I've been cheated on, and it sucks. You want to be mad at her, but you should be mad at him. And I always say, like, however a relationship starts is probably how it ends. So that's kind of what Tulsa is about. A majority of the songs, yeah, were written with them, 6 or 7 songs. And then I had 3 outside songs that I kind of changed into mine. And then one song, I mean, the last song on the record, Love Go By, was a song from years ago. And Drunk taught me, like, get out of the way of a song. Things are going to have their own life. I had completely forgotten that I'd written that song. We were all sort of scrambling because we didn't know how it was going to go. And we were in the studio at the end of the day, and my manager was like, what's this song? And I was like, I don't know. What is that? I was like, what is that song? That song's so good. I wrote that. And it's interesting how you can put pedal steel on something. It was like, oh, that's a good country song. But a good song's a good song. And I mean, look at Dolly, and I always love you, like Whitney Houston, you know, but Dolly's like the country queen. But a good song you can do in so many different ways. That's why I love doing covers. I love like a different accent on a song. And so it's really cool to see my storytelling and my songwriting kind of come out in different ways. And Ross was really incredibly instrumental in that, in helping me find that voice and opening my eyes to how things can be. Well, anything that made the record that was an outside write or that wasn't written by me, first and foremost, if I heard it and said, I wish I wrote that song, then I would want to record it. And then I would change a few words here and there that's like more my style, or something I would say, even like little things. I mean, there's nothing wrong with singing a song written by somebody else. It's amazing, but I'm always going to make something my own. And I just really wanted this to be like very authentically me, just in the celebration of what I have felt and how I have felt coming into the country world. I've felt so myself, and I've felt very welcomed and accepted. So I wanted to double down on that, and if I was going to put out a country record, it's got to be good, and I want it to be me and my vision and my sound, and it was probably one of the most fun records I've ever made. My brother loves Tyler Childers, and Tyler Childers is from like maybe 45 minutes from in Kentucky, from where my family's from in Ohio. And so my brother was like, Ellie, well, we call each other Bob, and he was like, Ellie, Tyler Childers is playing the River Rat Festival, and can you go and take me, and can I meet him? And my brother's very shy, and he doesn't ever ask for anything, and I was like, sure, yeah, let's go. So a few years ago, and he was so captivating, and it was a very wild night, and we met him, and he was super cool. I didn't know until later that Tyler and I are the only country artists signed on New York RCA, which is, typically a rock and pop label. I'm also like not very good at social media stuff. So I guess the song was like trending on TikTok, and they asked him to record it, and he said no. They said, okay, well, who will you let record it on RCA? And he said, only Elle King. They called and said, hey, will you record this song? And I was like, I just released the date of my album coming out, but sure, yeah. I'm not going to say no to a Tyler Childers song. And it's also very cool, but, he remembered that my brother's a big fan. He remembered that I met him, and I don't know, I just have a lot of respect for that. And I was also very nervous because his fans are his fans, and I didn't want to piss anybody off, but I felt very honored that he chose to give that song to me. And it also was an opportunity for me to continue producing, and, kind of further fuel that. I don't even know what it is, because all this is so new to me. And I co-produced it with Charlie Worsham, and he's so incredible, and I wanted to bring my sound with traditional bluegrass, and honestly, I just really wanted to make Tyler and my brother proud. But it's a beautiful song, and I thought it was really, really cool. If you're writing by yourself, don't get in the way of a song. Finish it. Don't get in your head. I would put I always put pressure on myself in every sense of the word, but sometimes I'll be like, oh man, well, I don't know if this is going anywhere, and I would just give up on the song. Sometimes you have to do that. Just let it come out. And then the biggest hurdle for me when I started co-writing with other people, it's okay to put an idea on the table and have somebody say no to it. That was something that I took as an attack on my spirit. And it doesn't have to be like that. It took me, I'm still working on it, but if you just shift that and you turn down that really loud voice in your head that says, they hate you, they hate it, your ideas are terrible, it could save you a lot of time. And I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't take advice from me. A good idea is a good idea. Don't get in your head. Always put things out there, as cutthroat as it can be in a writing room. Just make it fun, keep it light, or dig super deep and be open. But the most important thing ever is to be true to your own voice and your own narrative and tell your story, because the more open and honest and vulnerable that you are, the more likely that you will reach someone or catch something or land on something that nobody else has done, because there's only one you, and you have to tell your story. Well, first of all, I don't feel so bad about a song like Tulsa, because my biggest song is a song about me literally being Tulsa. There's not one person that inspired that. It was multiple. Actually, I talked to all of them, and really only 2 of them were mad. It was about 3 people, but 2 of them were mad. One was funny. He was like, can I ask you a question? Is that first verse about me? And I was like, yeah. Yeah. He was like, okay, cool. I wrote that song with Dave Bassett. Dave Bassett he's just so funny. again, same kind of thing. I mean, I'm a storyteller, and so I write what I think are good verses, and then it's really fun to either write a verse to a great chorus idea, or kind of, I don't know. I'm getting better at writing choruses, but I'm definitely a verse girl, or a crazy bridge writer. Yeah, that was kind of Dave's idea, and we literally wrote that song in probably under 45 minutes, cut and recorded the entire thing that whole day. And I just remember high-fiving him and laughing, be like, they're never gonna let us put this on the record. And I left, and a couple weeks later, they're like, that's a single, and I was like, boop! I never in a million years thought that that was gonna do anything that it did. I still love playing it. God forbid if a show's going bad, I'm like, at least we got X's and O's. But now it's like 10 years, and the young people who come for drunk are like, I don't know, like, it's funny to see how far up X's has moved in the set. It's like, used to be a closer, now it's like right in the middle. Like, it's a surprise. But it's very interesting, and it's still really, really fun to sing.